We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 509. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week is the Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion himself and the OG Undisputed Scholar. You know him, you love him, you know his name, but we're going to say it anyway. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how are we feeling tonight, sir?
I am feeling absolutely okay. Okay. Consider and it's going to lead into what we discussed tonight with how certain things went. Was just hoping it didn't end up that way, but other than that, I feel great. Oh, hi, Goldie. Mwah.
Careful now, you don't know where that's been.
Oh, trust me, I know exactly where it's been.
You're right. You know where it's been. I just wish I didn't know. In the meantime, also joining us this week, last but certainly not least, you know him, you love him. He is the one and only, and the one and only holder of the Scholars in the Bank Beefcase. He is Mr. Beefcase in the Bank himself, and your AEW Collision World Champion. Hopefully that's enough titles for a while. This is, of course, Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, how we feeling tonight, sir?
As I live and breathe. Good evening, gentlemen. What a cozy environment we have with us tonight. A triple threat to my fellow scholars. Yes, my tag team partner, Scholar Jeff, you have said it perfectly. I am your beefcase holder. I am your AEW Collision World Champion, and I am going for Scholar of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you comment down below. Show your love for your boy, just like the Punk fans be my fans. What we talking about today, Mr. Jeffrey?
Well, this week we are going to be covering the week that was in professional wrestling because we did have some very interesting results from this past week in wrestling and some really interesting implications for the future, the foreseeable future anyway. So let no more ado, let's just dive right in, starting with what happened this past week on Monday Night Raw. The first and most notable thing that has stirred up a lot of conversation over the past week is the recent announcement that their official is now official. Gunther will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg on Saturday night's main event. I don't think any more context is needed here. Gentlemen, pitching it over to you. Immediate thoughts on this and where is it all going?
I I mean, Skeletor, you are the Gunther fan here. Would you like to take first dibs, or would you like me to explain my thoughts?
I think my expression right now and just how I started this particular episode of the Scholars of Wrestling show just shows exactly how I feel about this. Um, I was so desperately pleading, just I was just hoping that this just doesn't happen. It wasn't good. I was like, oh, okay, Goldberg hasn't been seen in months since that back and forth between the two. It was at some point last year, I believe. I don't think it was this past year.
Definitely
Uh,
not sometime that's
it
very
was late.
recent at
It was
all.
definitely late last year because of course the whole build between Rumble and Mania was for Gunther and Jey Uso. But all I could say is it's a like hopefully what Gunther tweeted this week was, "Oh, this will be a quick 3 minutes to spare." It's like, "Oh, good. I hope this will just be a nice retirement match for Goldberg and it'll be just a good person to actually give him his last match, which is quite possibly one of the safest workers you can have, even though he'll basically beat the ever-loving shit out of you with Gunther." let's just get all I say, let's just get this over with. It's at Saturday night's main event. It's just going to be pretty much what Randy Orton did for Gunther at the beginning of his previous title reign, and just put on a fun match and just put Gunther over and and give Goldberg a nice retirement. Thank you, Goldberg. Thank you, Goldberg.
Well, I'll tell you what, I sure hope that's what ends up happening.
But I
But
don't think it's go. I think Goldberg's winning.
If Goldberg's winning, I'm gonna have to take basically a good pause from WWE for a while because I'll just be like, okay, I like I need a I I'm gonna pull a Ross Geller. We need a break.
I'll tell you what though, I'm totally on board with what you're saying, but unfortunately, I feel like as much as it really would not make any sense, especially if this is meant to be his final retirement match, it, there is unfortunately a precedence for this kind of thing. Like his match with the Fiend in Saudi Arabia, like when he just gets brought in randomly to wrestle like the Undertaker or whatever. Like there's a nasty precedent here of him just coming in, swooping in at the last minute, getting a victory, taking a title, and just going with it, even though that he never does anything with it. I One thing I'm genuinely afraid of, and I'm going to make this a scholar's quick talk because this is something I've been hearing about all day. But scholars quick talk, and really think about it before you ask this. Could Goldberg actually defeat Gunther? And that's why they put the title on the line.
Let me put it this way. Bill Goldberg is almost 60 years old. He could barely move when he showed up this past week. He would It would be just terrible Vince McMahon-esque booking of having someone who can barely move get one over someone who is in their prime. That would just be just even if it is it's like, oh, Bill Goldberg wins. Oh wait, here comes Seth Rollins with a cash in. Just no.
It's taking away from the world title already. We
It's
all
yeah.
know that the premier title is the WWE Undisputed Universal over there on SmackDown. But what Gunther has is he puts a reign on this title that means something. But like you said, Scholar Jeff, it is clear that in the past, Triple H and company has done things where Goldberg would win the belt. I really, really don't think he will, in all honesty. I think they should keep it on Gunther because I think if you put it on a 60-year-old Bill Goldberg, who's literally almost cost The Undertaker major hospital bills because of how he performed. Like at the end of the day, the man is just not the man he was back in WCW and early on with WWE, of course. But it is like you said, Scholar Tark. It needs to be that he comes, he puts an decent performance on. The man's 60. Like I said, we're not seeing magic here. You give Gunther, who is one of the best to work with, as Scholar Tar put, and it's also something where it shows his dominance as a world champion. Okay, we had the Jey Uso get the oh holy crap yeet moment at WrestleMania, but we're back to showing this world title as being legit. And one way is to beat a former world heavyweight champion in Bill Goldberg. On paper, it looks better that he loses, but again, with WWE and how they're going, you've seen the gifs online with Triple H being in a suit covered in Ford, Mobile, and all the ads on his suit jacket. That's what WWE is turning, and if that becomes the world title, and that's the world title that they just give and do whatever with, and the more serious one is the Cody Rhodes esque chasing that one. But it's like I said, it's I'm going. I'm going. to say Gunther is winning hands down, but I hope that the performance is good on both fronts.
That is a very fair assessment to make. I was personally was just a little bit concerned when again, I heard a lot of not rumors, but discussion rather from people who are a little bit concerned, like, okay, what if he does what he did in the past, even when it didn't make sense back then. I still have a little bit of trauma left over from when he screwed over the Fiend without really needing to. Who knows what kind of creative control he's got in this new Triple H based regime. But
God,
if
I can't see it much. I can't
I
see it
really
being that
hope you're
much.
right. I really hope you're right. I want you to be right for that matter. But frankly, it's like I hope that this is enough for Goldberg. Just having a good match with Gunther, who can carry him in whatever state he's in, to something workable, of course.
And
But
he's the Goldberg of today. And I mean that not with like all the respect to Gunther. Like he is the attraction, the big man that everybody comes to see who knows he's just wrestle. You're not going to hear him. You're going to hear him on the mic, but you're not going to hear him. You're going to see him in action in the ring. The ring is going to do his talking. And it's like you said, beautiful send off.
for sure. But now that we've got that all taken care of, that was not the only story coming out of Raw this past week, because we got some advances in the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. We've got Jey Uso advancing in the King of the Ring tournament for the men,
Yeet.
and for the women, we've got a returning Asuka also advancing in the Queen of the Ring tournament, to the shock of probably very few of us, I imagine.
Oh no, I was expecting her to win initially.
I
It
loved her
was
mask coming out. Oh my lord. Her entrance with that mask and the OG theme. Oh, that shit hit hard. And fantastic performance on Asuka. And again for Yeet, just for my perspective on the King of the Ring, Jay, who didn't see this coming, and now you have Cody versus Jay. I mean, the story writes itself here. WWE, we know what you're doing. We see what you're doing. Wow, us with a good match next week, gentlemen.
it's actually really funny considering who the final four of this King of the Ring tournament is. It's essentially it's like no matter what type of like final we're getting, it's going to be like either Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes. Uh, I said Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton versus. It's not going to be Randy Orton versus Jey Uso. That's the only one I'm looking at. I'm like, now that I'm actually like reading them out, I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely not going to be Randy Orton versus Jey Uso.
You imagine Randy in the back just be like, "Yo, Chip, I need to be eaten." With Jey Uso in the middle of the ring, set up the King of the Ring finals. Randy Orton versus eating Jey Uso. Oh God, I love it.
So at this point, I think it looks like they're going to continue with the Sami Zayn Karrion Cross storyline, and Karrion Cross is going to cost Sami Zayn the match against Randy Orton just to continue his journey to get the World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm still convinced is going to be at this year's WrestleMania. I'm still convinced with the Royal Rumble being in Saudi Arabia, that's the perfect place for Sammy to win it and finally get that World Heavyweight title win that he's been going after for, I think, about 2 years now. So that would basically be just another story finish for Sammy. So that gives him a good way of getting out of it. So it's just the question is like, do we want Randy Orton versus Jey Uso? And with my initial response, with when I actually said it out loud, no, it looks like it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. And considering the promo back and forth on SmackDown with John Cena, uh, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. It looks like a Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes finals is going to happen, and that's actually really good
Yeah.
finals for a King of the Ring tournament.
I'm all in on that match. You have sold me with that match. You don't even have to give me promos. That's going to be just.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. But
Oh,
yes,
you're
you're
good.
absolutely right. That actually is going to sell it just popped in my head. With Jeff not being here last week, I want to actually hear his response. What do you think of the new King of the Ring format that they are going with this year of having the quarterfinals be fatal four ways instead of singles matches?
I will say I was a little thrown by it at first, but ordinarily I would love to see a more extended one in the traditional like bracketed one-on-one sense. Uh, but honestly, I don't hate this. Given like it create if you absolutely must do a King of the Ring tournament in a much shorter period of time, not only does this fatal four-way thing make format make it possible to do so, but you're also able to accomplish a couple other things. You're also able to get more exposure to people who are not really going to win it and you know it. You can also have some upset winners to just
Hmm.
see people advance. You can have an excuse why certain other higher card people end up not winning the match. Case in point with the women, we've got in one of the first round matches. Got Kyrie Sane, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Roxanne Perez. Any one of them, you could make a case for winning, but Roxanne ended up beating it over Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley,
Hmm.
which was shocking to me. But at the same thing with Asuka, Asuka getting the win over Ivy Nile, Raquel Rodriguez, and Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer, I think, was probably one of the forerunners to win this thing, but Asuka made sense too. And it's not like other big you can put other big names into this format and not have them look weak or bad or anything like that. So I guess I'll go with that as my answer. I was a little thrown by it at first, but there are some definite upsides to this format, and I'm enjoying it so far. And honestly, this King of the Ring field is probably stronger as a whole than it's been in quite a long time. So I'm digging it personally.
I agree. These last two King of the Rings have definitely been very good when it comes to like who they have, the talent that they have in these said tournaments that actually made them feel like a big deal and not just, oh, winner gets a king gimmick for 6 months at least. Like they're actually treating this with respect and their actual stakes in the matter, with the winner getting a world title match at SummerSlam. I it's nice to show, it's nice to see like Triple H like compared to the whole stories of how he doesn't like the Money in the Bank concept and the whole having the people hold the briefcase. And most people's like, well, that's just because he's never been involved in it. He's never been cashed in on. He's never been in Money in the Bank ladder matches. So obviously it makes sense he doesn't like the idea. So I was like, okay, when you got evidence like that, fair. And it's just, and this shows just how much he respects King of the Ring. Now let's see if they actually do something with Survivor Series other than War Games. Just put a nice little spin on those like traditional Survivor Series matches. Maybe like have them be mid-card talent. Winner gets shots at the Intercontinental or United States Championship or something. Or
Listen,
like at
Triple H
least in that
loves
one.
the King of the Ring. You know why he loves the King of the Ring? Because he's the King of Kings, and that's why he likes the King of the Ring.
He is a former King of the Ring. Yes.
Although, since we're still on the subject of King of the Ring, or in this particular instance, Queen of the Ring, I find myself more intrigued by the women's side of things and how that those brackets are developing. Because right now I'm looking at the brackets right now, and I feel like this can go to virtually any one of the four ladies involved. We've got Roxanne Perez versus Jade Cargill and Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. In my mind, you can make a case for any four of these ladies winning this entire thing. So with that, here's another Scholars Quick Talk for you. In your opinion, who do you see going on the Night of Champions and who ultimately, in your opinion, ends up winning this thing?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Jade Cargill to win the whole thing. The rumors are going around she's in line for a big push, and I already see a potential storyline aspect of where they can go with her.
Very interesting.
Listen, I'm your beefcake champion, and I'm gonna cash in when I feel like cash in, and I'm gonna go with
Sure you are.
Roxanne Perez. Why, you ask? Because y'all boys know AJ Lee, friend of Roxanne Perez. I hope she wins the whole thing. I don't. I see your Jade Cargill, and I say nonsense with your logic.
Oh, it's like she's so confident in that. He probably put the beef case on the line to make that statement. It's like so confident. Are you confident with that to put the it's like, "Oh, I'll put the beef case on the line. Whoever actually does win it."
Just remember, Scholar Tarek, I could have cashed in on you and been the champion right at this
You
very
could,
moment.
hey, you could have, but your pride of wanting to overthrow Brian got the better of you.
No, I just,
I could have welcomed that cash. I welcomed that cash in with open arms because it's just the ways of the game. But
just
again,
And
your
how you
pride is
play
like,
it?
ooh, exactly. And
I'm
it's
going
like
to
your
cash
pride
in
is just
when
going, yeah, yeah,
Goldberg beats
I'm
Gunther
gonna.
at your lowest
That's
of
not how
low.
this works, sir. That's not how this works. Oh, but let's see. Again, you could cash it at any time, but we know you're not. You're just gonna save it for Brian because you just have a one-track mind.
Uh,
Uh, am
I
I?
am curious on the
Prove me wrong.
Alexa Bliss Asuka side of things, though, because I
That's a
do
fun
think
one.
it will go to Asuka at the end of things. But would I be mad with Alexa Bliss? No, because I feel like she's been a little bit shadowed and cast aside lately. Like she had that run in with some superstars and everything like that, but I don't think she's really gotten back in the limelight. I think Oscar's return was very strong, made it look good. So if Alexa Bliss were to have won like against Oscar, I think that would be good for her as well. I am very curious though on that side. At the end of the day, Jade Cargill is going to probably beat Roxanne Perez by, cheating. But
To be fair, to be honest, like with how they presented Asuka this past week, I would actually prefer, like my heart would want her to win just because I would love to see this go with Asuka going back to how she was during Black and Gold era NXT and the beginning of
mhm,
her main roster one where she has this incredible undefeated streak. Like, let's get that Asuka back.
mhm.
But and just it's like, oh, we get that Oscar back, and she just wins the women. She wins the Queen of the Ring, and she wins the World Championship. That would just actually be just a phenomenal. I mean, who the hell would not want to see like Asuka versus Io Sky
Mhm.
for the world title at SummerSlam? That would just be just fantastic, especially with the history they have of being former Damage Control members.
I mean, Scholar Jeff, you said it at the top here. This is
But that's my
definitely,
opinion.
I think, the more interesting of the two King slash Queen of the Rings. I really think that the girls here do have the better lineup because, like, it's very interesting to see how things play out. Like, we pretty much, you said, Scholar Tark, like, we know at the end of the day what realistically is going to be Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. I'm pretty sure that if Vegas would have odds, that would be the one they would go with the most. And to see that there's different ways that the women's can go, it's just very exciting. I love this King of the Ring. Like you, a last couple, I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Although I will have to, before we move on, I do want to throw out one other possibility out there. Uh, what do you think is going to happen with Alexa Bliss? And now that the Wyatt Six are back, are there going to be, is that going to be coming into play at all, do you think? Or
That's a
will
very good question. I
a
honestly
lot
have
of
no
things could
idea.
happen there?
But
Oh,
that's
Because
that.
in all honesty, the story with the Wyatt Six is actually confusing to me right now. Because I just see what they're doing, and I just have like, are they heels now? Are they like what is the story going on with them? I mean, they're going in the tag division. It looks like they're just wanting to aim for the tag team titles, but it's just the million-dollar question. Are they heels? Are they actually just going as tweeners?
I think
What
they
is
are
the
good.
story?
I think they're the story. Well, the story is that they're intentionally going for the tag team titles and are looking to disrupt the entire division just to, just as it is. And right now, they have the entire tag team division on the back foot, and no one really knows how to deal with them just yet. So that is the story. Whether or not they're faces or heels, I don't think they're anything really right now. They're just the Wyatts. Frankly, they strike me as being more faces than anything else, just because the titles are being held by a heel tag team at the current moment. So I think they're going to be putting them in as default as faces. Not to mention that people don't tend to want to boo the Wyatts. So I'd say they're leaning more towards face, but that's just in terms of the tag team titles right now. There's still hints here and there that they're going to be doing something with some connection to Alexa Bliss. It's just a matter of when do they finally officially pull that trigger? And is it going to have any bearing, do you think, on the current brackets for Queen of the Ring at all?
I'm
But
gonna say probably not. I think this is gonna be like a post tournament when it comes to Alexa Bliss to that will have her get involved with the Wyatt Six if it actually happens. I mean,
Fair
they've been
enough.
hinting at it on the show, but
it's
Fair
it,
because
enough.
there's still also the uh possible feud going there with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I mean, just from this Queen of the Ring tournament alone, Charlotte looked like she had the match in the bag, and Alexa Bliss just comes in, hits her finisher, and pins. Who did she pin? Who else was involved in their fatal four way? It doesn't matter. Alexa Bliss got the win, and she was like looking at Charlotte, like, "That's right, I stole your victory." So there's still that. So it's nice to see that Alexa Bliss now has multiple paths that she can take, and with the unfortunate injury that we got on Monday with Liv Morgan, spaces are definitely now opening up in
Hmm.
that sense.
So yeah, lots of interesting possibilities are opening up. But now there is yet another opening that's now opening up specifically for Evolution with the recent injury confirming that Liv Morgan is now out with an injury. Uh, I believe you
Dislocated
gu-
shoulder.
I believe you guys found some rumors and scuttlebutt that they were squaring her up to be a key factor in the Evolution show. Care to expand on that, and what do you think is going to happen from here?
Well, the big storyline that they were obviously going for with having Liv Morgan get involved with Nikki Bella last week and her like Nikki Bella, she said Nikki Bella wasn't there this past week, but the original plan was for her to interfere in her match against Kairi Sane to give Kairi Sane the victory, building on their feud, which will inevitably at Evolution be the Bella Twins winning the women's tag team championships over Liv and Raquel. But due to the unfortunate circumstances of Liv Morgan getting injured in her match with Kairi Sane, like literally in the beginning of the match. That's the sad part. They were literally just getting started, and it was just nothing more than just a freak accident. And like it's of course it's a shame that there's some wrestling fans that are just like attacking Kairi Sane. It's like, oh, she got her injured. First, that whole thing with Zoe Stark, and now this with Liv Morgan. Which, if you were just a you use your brain cells, you know, both situations were just unfortunate accidents. I mean, Zoe Stark was doing a high risk, and she landed horribly wrong. which I still can't. It's like it's hard to watch that video. It's like Sid Vicious levels of cringe.
Yeesh.
Um, I mean, you saw the video of her leg basically bending the other way after doing that high risk.
Actually, I did not. I didn't actually see the footage live.
Oh, oh, I didn't see it live either. But I saw it after, which and it is hardcore cringe. Like you're looking at just like, ooh. And for this one, you like, yes, it was a dislocated shoulder, but you don't actually. It's really hard to really see it happen. It was just even in slow mo, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, poor Liv Morgan got her shoulder dislocated, and now she's gonna need surgery on it, and she's out for estimated 6 months. And that just sucks because with the uh with the stories I've been reading, she was a big benefactor for the Evolution pay-per-view, to which they're actually tearing up what they have just to basically start anew. And it really sucks that it like the unfortunate circumstance of what happened to Liv Morgan, but it's also like look if you look at it, it's like, oh, geez, they have to scrap this whole idea because they're centering a pay-per-view around you. I'm like, good on you, Liv Morgan, Jersey represent. But yeah, just it's such a shame. Kairi Sane does not deserve any backlash because again, nothing more than a freak accident, and just hoping for Liv to get a speedy recovery and a successful surgery when she gets it. If she's unless she's already gotten it, but I don't know if I can't confirm that right now.
Yeah, of course. This is definitely an ongoing story right now. So I'm sure that as things progress, we're gonna see how she will be doing and how the rest of the Evolution pay-per-view will be going on as well. But before we talk about anything else in the world of wrestling, we need to talk about the best shows of the week by far. You know what I'm talking about. Of course, I am talking about the Saturday Night Slam Masters, the Titans of Saturday night, including
Is that your guys' tag
AEW,
team name? The
this
Saturday
this
Night Masters?
the Saturday Night Slam Masters, just like Mayor Mike would have it. So of course we got to talk about the two biggest shows of the week before we go into anything other of the other developments. First off, bringing us your results from AEW Collision, Saturday Night Collision, your AEW Collision World Champion. We're throwing it back to Scholar Pete. Scholar Pete, take us through what has happened this past week on AEW Collision.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the best show on the internet. You're here at Collision Corner. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know why Collision Corner is the number one show on your Saturday night. Of course, we have some great matches for you guys tonight. Of course, we have the return of the legend himself. Jordan Haas comes back and speaks finally face to face with Shelton Angle. It's the ultimate
Holy
wrestling
moly, free
Olympic
holies. What a match.
My God, you gotta see it. But I digress because you have to see our second to last main event. Of course, you gotta have the appetizer first, and we have a great appetizer. Forget the mozzarella sticks, forget the chicken fingers. You're here to watch Tajiri make his return with his tag team partner Funaki, bringing it back to the Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty Too Hottie versus the APA. That's good old Bradshaw and Farouk for you youngins. And of course, the tag team that you wouldn't believe. Ladies and gentlemen, it took time for Collision Corner to get these guys signed. They have been all over the world. They have been on your TV screen. They have been in your town. Of course, I am talking about the Doobie Brothers. They're going on, man. And it's going to be a wonderful show. But of course, I digress. The final main event of the evening. Let's get serious. And of course, what are we doing at Collision Corner but having the first ever fish tub match? What you have to do is you wrestle in a bathtub and you have to hang the other wrestler by the tights on the fishing pole. It is very hot in this room. I've lost. No, let's be serious. It is a bathtub on a fishing pole match. We have a bathtub as the ring. The wrestlers go, and of course, the objective of the match is to hang the wrestler on the fishing pole like a fish. Of course, when we have this match, you have to have the man who created it, Shark Boy, versus Crazy 8. Remember, this is AEW Collision Corner, your number one show for all things craziness with the collision. Back to you,
So,
my Velocity Saturday Night brethren.
so was that a four tag team match, or was it an 8-man tag team and two tag teams were together to face two other tag teams? So APA and the Doobie Brothers versus Not Kai and Tai and Too Cool. I say it's not Kai and Tai because it's Tajiri instead of Taka Michinoku and Funaki. So is it an
Yes.
8 team or is it a 4 team go for whatever tag team titles you have? I'm trying I'm trying to make sense of this madness.
It sounds like you're invested, Scholar Tark. That's what it sounds to me. And of course, I would be too if you obviously want to watch the better product between the two shows, which is obviously Collision Corner. And I will explain, but let's have my tag team partner on the other side, Velocity, see what they're cooking, and then we'll talk and see who had the better show. I mean, Scholar Jeff, after you, sir.
Oh, you are too kind. Yes, as my esteemed tag team partner has said, I am your Saturday Night Velocity World Champion. So who better than I to tell you about the week that was on the Superior Saturday Night show? That is Saturday Night World Saturday Night Velocity, brought to you by the World Wildlife Fund. We, of course, got 3 spectacular matches for an action packed evening of professional wrestling. The first match is the amazing return match you've all been waiting to see. It's Eddie Guerrero versus the one and only La Parca. That's right, kids. It's finally happening. The rematch of the century. But you know what? We're just getting started because the second match on the card is the legendary Alex Wright going 1-on-1 against the living legend La Parca. That's right. That is indeed what is happening. You cannot miss it. But most of all, we cannot miss the main event, which is containing
Parka.
we've got Chavo Guerrero defending his Intercontinental Velocity Championship against, you guessed it, Maven. That's right. The matches you've all been craving for, the matches that you've been clamoring, typing and sending it, writing them letters to see, yes, I need to see Maven and La Parca in the year of our Lord 2025. Your prayers have been answered, your letters have been read, and your wishes are coming true, just like they always are on Saturday nights. Velocity, brought to you by the World Wildlife Fund, where dreams come true. Scholar Pete, back to you.
Now, Scholar Tark, is that not a ripoff of WWE Speed that you could find on your X machines?
I honestly don't know what the fuck this is anymore.
What that sounds
I'm
like.
it's
We're
like
just talking
you
about
you're
wrestling
Lucha
saying
shows, man.
Underground.
you're saying this is me invested. This is me just looking at just like whatever crazy and wild gimmick you guys are having for this fucking tag team of yours and just going, what the hell? Outrunners eat your heart out with just the absolute insanity that these two guys bring.
Absolutely ridiculous. The Outrunners were last week.
Uh, son of a
Don't
bitch.
you remember
Okay.
they took on the tag team of Maven Laparca? Everyone knows that.
Goldie, just come here and I need comforting right now because what the fuck is going on?
Hey, we're
Okay.
just giving the
So
people what they want and talking about the finest wrestling shows that you will see on your television each and every Saturday night.
and now
Nothing more.
we'll just put a poll. Like, let's see if anyone actually will be like, okay, which one of these two shows did you like more, Collision or Velocity? Who had the better run this week? You know what? Fuck it. I'll do that later just to again, just to get myself involved because
Because you're invested in
as this
Collision Corner. Listen,
as the
we're
scholars
looking
of
for a
wrestling
general manager. We pay handsomely.
as the scholars of wrestling heavyweight champion, whatever content is put on the show, I got to find some way to like get our fans involved somehow, even though they probably don't want to. Because hell, I don't know if I want to either.
Oh, please. The fans absolutely speak, and they want to see the finest in Saturday night wrestling shows each and every single week. It's what makes the Saturday Night Slam Masters work each and every week, bringing you the hypest matches and just the most exciting moments that you will ever see in the history of ever.
I'll just take your guys' word for it. I mean, even Brian was just like, just let these guys have fun with their gimmick, and I was like, all right, you know what? Sure.
Hey, when our gimmick involves covering the most exciting wrestling matches of the week, and we're getting this earth shattering, paradigm breaking matches on your television on not just one channel, but two channels. That's right. You can check out WWF Saturday Night Velocity every single week on Spike TV. But you already know that. Scholar
Okay.
Pete, Scholar Pete, where can you watch AEW Collision every single week?
You could watch it, of course, on your HBO Max account because, why would you have an HBO Max? And of course, I spell Max ZYA. So I'll make sure you search that up and then look for Collision Corner. You have to have a backspace. Don't forget the symbol for greater than, and of course, followed by the number 777278.
Isn't that how they made Freakazoid back in the day?
The very same way.
Amazing. And that's the kind of quality that you expect from your wrestling shows, of course.
That's like okay. It looks like okay. We brought the references. We get it. It's like okay. Now you're just reaching in the nostalgia hearts. It's like Captain America. I understood that reference.
Yes, Tarek, you certainly did. But now, speaking of acknowledging references, we need to talk about the rest of the week in wrestling. That is more specifically the AEW side of things.
My big brother.
And AEW this week was bringing us AEW Grand Slam Dynamite from Mexico at Arena Mexico in a crossover show with CMLL. And much to my surprise, Mercedes Monet actually won another belt, defeating I'm probably gonna butcher this, Zuxis for the CMLL Women's Championship. Yeah, Mercedes Monet now has another belt. Gentlemen, are you shocked by this? Did you see it coming? And if so, what's next for this whole storyline?
I feel like at this point they're just saving her for Mercedes Monet's first real loss against Tony Storm, because Jesus Christ, I was okay with the Mercedes Monet being the new belt collector, but now I think now it's kind of reaching that point. It's run its course for me. It's honest, like I like Mercedes Monet. But I'm now getting really bored with this character, and I'm kind of just bored with the now she's just having this she's at this point is untouchable. I'm not at the level of like, oh, Mercedes Hogan type booking, but I there are just some points where you have some storylines where you're just like, okay, it's fun at first, but now it's I'm 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 ready for something new. And I hope this like real giving with Tony Storm giving her first real loss would be something to wake up. Okay, now she can be beatable and the belt collector gimmick can slowly die.
How about you, Pete? I know you've got some choice words for Miss Monet on a given night. So
She's already
let's
beaten
hear
AJ
from
Lee in his first heart.
let me just pitch it back over to you. What are your true and honest thoughts on Mercedes Monet? And will she actually lose to Tony Storm, or will this rich tradition, rather, excuse my French, continue on the backs of Mercedes Monet? The floor is yours.
I mean, Scholar Jeff, please, if you're going to say the name, say it correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, are you talking about Mercedes Monet winning another fucking belt? This is ridiculous. Can we all just join me in realizing this, ladies and gentlemen? Like, it is like Scholar Tarek said. It's winning six belts. It's like, okay, did anybody notice that they were putting on the belts and one fell because she can't hold six fucking belts on arms? Mercedes Monet needs to lose to Tony Storm. I think it is the right call. And of course, Tony Storm is, of course, the golden goose in AEW for the women's division. I love her. Everything she does, fantastic work. And for the greatest moment in all in Texas, when she gets pinned by, oh God, and just to lose and then start losing the belts. And it's just, listen, I saw a thing on the Twitter machine. They said when she was in WWE, she was the workhorse. It was not appreciated, and now they're like, and now look at her, and it's her with the six belt, and I'm like, okay, and you do have good matches, but at the end of the day, too, it's like I hope you lose to Tony Storm. I hope you do. But Mercedes Moné will fucking find a way to win. Look at what we just talked about, gentlemen. Scholar Jeff, you didn't think that she was going to win a belt, another belt, but here we fucking are, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolute madness. Tony Storm, be our savior. Throw a fucking thunderstorm on her ass and beat Mercedes Moné once and for all. That is my
Why would
thoughts on her.
it's like throw a thunder on her ass? I'm like, geez, why is that kind of hot? But that's
Because it is.
yeah, I mean they were sniffing each other these past couple of weeks, and I'm just going, this is this is
They're
I feel
100%
like
kissing
I'm
it all
becoming
in.
Butters and watching that Lord of the Rings movie that's not a Lord of the Rings movie. Hopefully people of our age could actually understand that reference.
Indeed. Who knows where that's going to go? But in the world of AEW, we're still not done. All lucha jokes aside, we did also get Mystico technically defeating MJF, albeit by disqualification. I'll tell you what, I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, but I did not fully expect to see the ovation for Mystico that we did in Mexico here. But I was just wondering, like, okay, neither man can really afford to lose in the traditional sense. I wasn't really surprised at all that they sort of gave a cop out finish like this. But especially if AEW wants to preserve their relationship with CMLL, it almost seems like this was the rare it was the rare match of the show where you this kind of had to happen. They sort of booked themselves into a corner, and neither man really should have lost.
I will say the fact that we have a fan trying to attack MJF at his hotel after ripping off Mystico's mask. I was like, okay, this just showing that the story is that the whole storyline is actually working. And I don't know if they're continuing this storyline on. I don't know if we're gonna get a rematch with Mystico and MJF anytime soon. Maybe it will happen at All In. I don't know, but it is intriguing to see like one, the crowd are really invested in this because again, a fan tried to basically attack MJF uh at his hotel room because of what happened. And Mystico being just seeing how over he is. Yeah, it's just that question of like, will they put him in that in a grand stage like this? And it's very possible. And you just also have to again, ask, what does this how does this connect with the Hurt Syndicate? Does it involve the oh God, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out on the name. What is it? Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey? Is that right? Who are going for the tag? Who are trying the new contenders for the tag titles?
I'm blanking too. I'm not. I feel like Speedball Mike Bailey is in a lot of stuff having to
I
that
feel
just
like him.
opposes them.
I feel like it's him and Kevin Knight that are going after the Hurt Syndicate's tag team titles. I think that's where they're going with now. But again, we'll see how this all connects. Maybe they'll have a trios match, Hurt Syndicate versus Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Mystico, just to keep the story going, leading into their probably separate matches for All In, which should be fun. Not I would never have guessed that this would go after MJF joined the Hurt Syndicate, but oh well, I didn't know what to expect, and I guess that's working positively. I get for the story overall for AEW. It's like, oh, that's new. Let's see where this goes.
Hmm. And meanwhile, speaking of where this goes, we also had one more big giant multi-man match where a team led by the Death Riders defeated a team led by the Ops. I'll tell you what, we're this back and forth seems to keep going on, but we are getting closer by the day to All In. And it looks like now that we're still asking that same question with the rate things are going, will Hangman Adam Page end up pulling through and end up liberating the AEW World Championship from John Moxley and the Death Riders? Will this finally come to an end, or will it just be more of the same?
Absolutely, it's coming to an end. Let me tell you why, gentlemen. The man dropped a promo in Spanish. That's some dedication. That's some love. That's saying that I want you to believe me as your world champion. Because at the end of the day, Hangman Adam Page is AEW. He was there day one. He's the heart and soul. Even when Cody left, even with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all, he has been there, withering, being a face, being a heel, being everything he needs to be. And with his promo and the dedication to, like I said, to speak in Spanish in that stadium, the excuse me, in the arena, and just have these people gasped in surprise to show the dedication to say, no, like we know, like basically, I hear you. We're all sick of John Moxley. I'm here to put an end. And in all in Texas, we're gonna have that moment where there's gonna be people cheering from him from every part of the world, and it's gonna be Hangman Adam Page is your AEW World Champion, and it's gonna start and just catapult him. And I think that like I said, you saw it on day. How is this man not going to be their champion? They're building him up correctly. It is, to me, this is Cody Rhodes. This is his Cody Rhodes moment where he's building up to the inevitable matchup. David versus Goliath. We've seen it, but this time it's going to be different because he has the AEW originals behind him. What storytelling, what greatness. I am so, if anything in AEW I will be besides Tony Storm and the one that shall not be named. And of course, Hangman M. Page. I think these are the two most hottest things for AEW right now. And I cannot wait to see what happens with Hangman. Sorry for going off a little bit on that, gentleman.
Hey, passion is always welcome here. But how about you, Fool? Which way do you think they're going to go with this ultimately, given what we saw this past week?
I honestly don't know what more else I can add that what I've been saying these past couple of weeks is that, as Pete put it, this is AEW's equivalent to Cody Rhodes finishing his story, to where that he's been telling for quite a long time, many years of where he's been since he initially when he first won it, because that chapter of his story with the whole alcoholism and all that, and having the uh oh man, what is the name of that stable that he was with?
Oh, the
Brody
Dark
Lee's
Order?
the Dark Order. Thank
Dark
you.
Order, yeah.
Having the Dark Order being his back, and just that was the end of the basically book one of Hangman's story when he won the AEW World Title for the first time, and just thinking against Ken, it was against Kenny. The Bucks sealed their approval, and now seeing where his stories led now, from Christopher Daniels to Swerve Strickland, and just seeing how much that story is just as much a big a factor as this one, or how this story is much a factor as the previous ones. Excuse me. Um, this is just now at the point where there's only one way to go, and if you decide to pivot in a different direction, it would be just be dumb, because this is the pivot that needs to be, not the original idea of what they were saving for Darby Allin. Uh but yeah, this is what they need for in general all what we have for All In already. This is definitely AEW's WrestleMania field, from this match to Mercedes and Tony Storm to Kenny Omega and Okada for the Unified Championship, which again, I wish it would just be just them merging the Continental and International title just to make like the International title, since they can't do Intercontinental titles since WWE owns that name. Uh, but in the end, I am still getting what I want, and that is the Continental Championship disappearing. But I
As long
digress.
as they
That's not.
keep the Continental Classic tournament itself,
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
it's fine.
Again, I loved that. I loved the Continental Classic. I just don't think it needs a championship. Uh, it just needs winner gets something.
A trophy.
A, ti- a world title match, like how the G1 is gets a world title match for Wrestle Kingdom, something to that extent. Uh, but yeah, it's all I can say is AEW. Like, as much as people want to shit all over AEW, but it's just them. It's people not paying attention. It's just, let's shit on AEW just because it's quote unquote the cool thing to do. But I can't add anything more of what I've been saying with AEW this past few months, is that they've really picked up their stride. They are really heading in that right direction to actually get to the point where they were at their highest, and they will get to that point and start ascending, get reaching more. They reach their high point and just keep going with Hangman Page winning, and whatever happens between him and Swerve, that will basically be, I won't fully say bookend, but Uh, Obviously, they're going to have the basically the next chapter. I guess it would just be the bookend of their current story of just how much they loathe each other and just the story that they've been telling these past 2 years. And yeah, AEW is at that point where they would reach their high point and start going higher.
I don't think I can put it any better than that. This is right now when it comes to AEW, I feel like we're just in that pattern of just like, okay, now we're building, now we're just waiting to see what they're going to do it all in. But until that day comes, you've heard those are our opinions about what's going to be happening on this week leading up to All In. You've heard our opinions about what we think is of the fallout from Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, and everything in between. But now it was the point of our show where we're pitching it back over to you, our fellow fans. I saw that nice timing, Scholar Pete. So drop us a line all across the internet, YouTube comments, Facebook posts, Instagram comments, whatever you got, join in the conversation. But if you'd like to join the conversation a bit more directly, you can always join us on the Twitter/X machines, whatever you want, call it. Scholar Tarek, champ, where can he reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric.
And Scholar Pete, AEW Collision World Champ, Mr. Beefcase in the Bank, OU of several different names. Where can they reach you?
They can reach me at getting yelled at tomorrow morning by the wise woman at Improv Pete.
And you can check me out, join the conversation, and having pity on you all at I'm Robbie Rage. But if for all of these relevant social media links and much, much more, you can check us out at our link tree in the description box below. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling for more Scholars of Wrestling fun. So that should tide you over for a little while, but we will be back next week because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're
You're
welcome.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
See you all as the road to All In and many more continues on.